Growth, earnings, profitability, market share, capital gains. All buzzwords which connotate a healthy company. But do they attract potential employees? A business's primary purpose is to be profitable for the owners, stakeholders, and investors. Unfortunately, the key stakeholders often discounted in this equation are the employees within the company. Employee dissatisfaction, discontent, and disillusionment in the workplace leads to unnecessary attrition and can result in costly deficit to a business. When an employee leaves, the resources invested into that employee through training and education is lost. Company costs are elevated due to hiring and training. Additionally, this correlates to negative effects in the productivity and continuity of service, while replacement employees settle in. The rapidly and continuously changing workforce is the only constant we can depend on. Agile methodology must be applied to human resource management to combat the workforce market fluctuations. The December 2016 monthly labor review produced by the Bureau of Labor Statistics concluded, the shift of the population toward older age groups will have a large impact on lowering the labor force participation rate over the 2014-2024 timeframe. Jim Goodnight, founder and CEO of SAS Software out of Cary, North Carolina, is often quoted as saying, "Treat employees like they make a difference, and they will." He has built an empire on more than the data mining software they produce, but by the innovation that comes from his most valuable assets, his employees. I worked for SAS for 10 years, and even as a technical coordinator in the field, I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Goodnight twice. His personalized engagement was a cornerstone of his leadership model. We weren't just employees who worked for him. By making himself visible and available to everyone in the company, we were the people he worked with. Methods for leaders to show their employees they are valued is ever-changing due to shifting workforce consorts and technological advancements. Understanding the why in order to get to the how is critical when it comes to employee retention. Studies show peer influence results in more satisfied employees due to interpersonal relationships. Team spirit marks employee perception of a fun work environment due to recognition through team interaction. Leadership allegiance is demonstrated by employees who feel valued and rate their direct supervisor more positively. Understanding generational consorts is essential to establishing effective communication and to synthesizing the delivery so it will be heard on all levels in relation to employee retention. Neil Howe and William Strauss first identified and promoted the concept of the generational theory. The generations are identified as silence, baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, or millennials. In 2009, the Department of Labor acknowledged these unique consorts and concluded each was vying for positions and working together in today's market space. Pew Research shows that rapidly changing balance in the labor force composition from 1995 to 2015. This table shows a practically equal balance of boomers, Xers, and millennials in the employee workforce today, each with unique ways of conducting business and communicating. This shift in workforce alignment makes it essential for employers to address their leadership and team interaction to retain the best talent and job-related knowledge that these employees possess. Boomers in the workplace, they are comfortable with conflict. Consensus building. Leadership style is formal, follow protocol, social, politically sensitive, idealistic. Gen Xers in the workspace, fast-paced, independent, confident, value personal time, challenge the status quo, loyal to staff leader. Millennials in the workplace, task-oriented, want options and choices, expect attention, expect feedback, multitask through multimedia, think digital, work toward weekend or closing time. They are impatient, want to be led. More is yet to be learned about the up-and-coming Generation Z since the oldest of this consort is currently 14 years old. Frustration in the workplace occurs when we fail to understand one another and how to work together. The silent generation will soon be void from the workspace, replaced by the post-millennials who will bring with them new ideals and expectations of their employers. Since that generation has yet to be studied and demonstrate its idiosyncrasies, focus on developing a strategy that attracts and retains the top 97% of the current workforce is essential. Corporate concerns through the years has primarily been focused on production and capital, as demonstrated by Jim Goodnight's model at SAS, connecting with the people in the company and demonstrating a team environment is the cornerstone to a successful business. Regard must be taken for the younger, more educated generation coming into the workforce. Not only do employers have to train these bright new innovators how to perform their job, but they must inspire them to feel validated for the time they spent on their educations, instead of jumping right into the workforce like their predecessors. But there must be a balance in supporting these values and acknowledging and awarding the years of service put in by the boomers and the Xers. Finding that balance can be tricky. Generational variances is not the only dog in a race when it comes to understanding the market space mix. Integrating and implementing the widely varied characteristics of a diverse workforce is another factor for leadership to evaluate. Diversity is a hot topic and is gaining momentum in the HR arena. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that by the 2024, the U.S. workforce will be made up of 43% non-Caucasian employees. Diversity Inc. concluded that 43 out of the 50 of the most diverse companies, 24% more profitable than S&P 500, made up 7% of the Fortune 500, generated 22% of the Fortune 500 total revenue. Bridging the gaps in how people interpret events and actions and creating a platform for contribution of unique perspective creates opportunities, corporate growth, and innovation. Making strategic workforce decisions without reliable data is as good as guessing. This lack of practical information prevents human resource management from making a bigger impact on business outcomes. Understanding the scope of population trends and the influences that generational and diversity consorts have on the workforce is essential to corporate growth in today's employment market space. Retention of quality employees has often been tasked to the leadership within each siloed department through performance reviews, while human resource management is tasked with hiring and benefits programs. Reallocating the retention role to human resources and educating them to shape the overarching business success through talent mining married with retention will reflect on the company's bottom line. The ability to hire, retain, and motivate skilled employees is becoming more competitive, not only in today's job market, but for years to come. Valuing the people who work for you is not groundbreaking news. Methods for leaders to show their employees they are valued is ever-changing, as workforce shift and technologically dominates our communication efforts. Being agile and learning new techniques for employee attainment and retention starts with corporate leadership and results in corporate growth. Jim Goodnight is also quoted as saying, 95% of my assets drive out of the gate every evening. It is my job to maintain a work environment that keeps those people coming back every morning. By partnering with Work Transformation, you will be able to analyze your interpersonal employee relations and modify your retention capabilities by engaging your HR management with leadership teams to effectively and efficiently build better employee relations, which translates to employee retention.